Hello, my name is Kendall Blanchard, and I am a research project coordinator in the Equine Genetics Laboratory at the University of Minnesota. I'm going to talk about the inheritance of equine muscle diseases, a growing concern in horses around the world. As of 2017, the American Horse Council Foundation found that nearly half of the 7.2 million horses in the United States of America are commonly used for racing, showing, or agriculture. The equine industry generates approximately $122 billion in total economic impact to the United States of America alone. So it comes as no surprise that these economic factors have driven horse breeding for centuries. Horses are the only domesticated species that are heavily bred for their ability to sprint short distances, compete in endurance races, and pull heavy loads. Therefore, the value of horses highly depends on their athletic performance, and consequently, muscle diseases that affect their ability to train, race, or ride can have large economic impacts. So, how does a horse end up with a muscle disease in the first place? Well, what we know of current equine muscle diseases is that most of them have a genetic basis. So let's start with the big picture. There are about 22,000 genes in the equine genome. Genes provide the instructions for how an organism grows, develops, and functions. These instructions are broken down into two copies within every gene. One copy is inherited from the dom and the other from the sire, and these are called alleles. In the schematic to the right, a particular gene in a foal is highlighted in yellow. The foal inherits an uppercase B allele from the dom and a lowercase b allele from the sire. And this process of passing down alleles is known as Mendelian inheritance. Muscle diseases have resulted in horses because of changes in the DNA sequences within a gene. These are known as mutations, which can occur by random chance or environmental exposure that ultimately damages DNA. Using the example of the uppercase B allele and lowercase b allele from earlier, we can follow Mendelian's inheritance pattern for a disease below. An individual can either inherit no mutation, which is denoted as capital B, can inherit two mutant alleles, denoted as lowercase b allele and lowercase b, or they can inherit a normal and mutant allele, which is denoted as uppercase B and lowercase b. This particular set of alleles is also what can be called a carrier, because this individual may or may not develop signs of the muscle disease, but they have the ability to pass the disease on to their offspring. An illustration of this is shown in the family tree below. Here we have a dom with two normal alleles bred with a sire with two mutant alleles for a disease. In this scenario, any offspring they have together would carry one normal allele from the dom and one mutant allele from the sire. In other words, their offspring would all be carriers for the disease. This combination of alleles is known as a genotype, and the genotype is what determines the phenotype, or physical characteristic, of a horse. Sometimes mutations are beneficial or have no effect on the horse. Exampled here are the tiger eye color in Puerto Rican Pasafinos, pacing gait in standard bred horses, and white coat color in various breeds of horses, which are all a result of a mutation or several mutations. Unfortunately, mutations more commonly have negative impacts. Examples of this in terms of muscle disease includes glycogen branching enzyme deficiency in foals, type 1 polysaccharide storage myopathy in various horse breeds, as well as immune-mediated myositis in quarter horses and their related breeds. Diseases that follow Mendelian inheritance are often termed as simple diseases because of the inheritance pattern of the disease follows a clear path of inheritance. Researchers are finding some muscle diseases to be far more complex than previously thought, though. Some diseases may involve more than one mutation, or may be impacted by certain environmental factors. But research is still necessary to fully understand how environmental factors like diet and management impact muscle disease and how they may play a role in the genetic mechanisms behind the disease. And a way to begin managing for muscle disease in your horse is by understanding how these diseases are inherited, as described in this infographic, as well as utilizing testing options that are currently available. It also helps to talk with your veterinarian after noticing clinical symptoms or after identifying that your horse has a mutation for muscle disease. You can help us figure out more about the genetics behind muscle diseases and how diet and exercise impact them by participating in our equine muscle diseases study. If interested, go ahead and click on the link in our infographic to read more about it. You can find the full infographic with the embedded links in the bit.ly link provided in the video description. You can also follow our Facebook page for more infographics about muscle disease in the future, which is also provided in the video description. Thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this video.